and that Iran and Turkey will be part of that alliance, because the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that you will make an alliance with Rome. Rome is not Rome, the capital of Italy. Nonsense. Rome in the Quran is the Byzantine Empire, Rome. And the Byzantine Empire, which had its capital in Constantinople, has now been taken over by Russia, Eastern Orthodox Christianity. So the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that you will make an alliance with Rome. But probably this hadith never reached Pakistan, because they made the alliance with Washington. When I speak like this, of course, the price I pay is that I cannot visit Pakistan anymore. I don't mind paying that price. I don't mind. And so we have a nuclear war coming up between the NATO alliance on one side and Russia and China on the other side. They will mutually destroy each other. This book explains it as the Gog and Magog war. In order for Russia to have a fighting chance to win that war, the Russian Navy, nuclear-powered Navy, must have access to the Mediterranean Sea. The only way that the Russian Navy can get access to the Mediterranean Sea is if they can pass through the Bosphorus. And the city of Istanbul is located on both sides of the Bosphorus. Istanbul used to be called Constantinople. Today, Istanbul is a NATO city controlled by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. But the Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam made a prophecy that you will conquer Constantinople. And he praised the Amir of that army, and he praised that army. Ni'am al-Jaysh, Ni'am al-Amir. I understand that prophecy to be located in Akhirul Zaman, not the previous conquest. And so I'm anticipating civil war in Turkey, so that the Turkish people can liberate themselves from the control of the Turkish armed forces, which are pro-Israel. And that civil war will result in victory for Islam. And so NATO will lose its control over Constantinople. Once that happens, the Russian fleet can now enter the Mediterranean. And so nuclear-powered submarines and ships passing through the Bosphorus into the Mediterranean. China is also a nuclear power. And China also has submarines and ships that are nuclear armed. And guess where the Chinese are now building a naval port? Do you know? China is building a naval port on the southern tip of Sri Lanka. So you're going to have the Russian Navy coming from the north and the Chinese Navy coming from the south. So this is going to be a war that will be a little bit more evenly balanced. Yeah. When I said 50 years from now, Nabi Isa alayhi will come back. 50 years from now, oh, they beat me up. They beat me up in New York. So I changed it. I said, children now at school should live to see it. And nobody beat me up anymore. So I don't say 50 anymore. I said, children now at school should live to see it. When we give time frame, we're only making plausible guesswork. We could be wrong. 15 years ago, I was saying 50 years. So now I should be saying about 35. But others, my students are saying to me, Sheikh, you're wrong. It's less than that. It's less than that. They could be right. It could be less than 35, but it's not 350 years. The young man is saying that Pakistan is an ally of China. No. No. That's just a minor insurance policy that they bought. Pakistan is most firmly an ally of Israel. And when Allah's punishment comes, it's going to be terrible. Yeah. The question is, can we relate events that are occurring in many parts of the Muslim world, including Malaysia, with the fitna of Gog and Magog? Actually, the word is not fitna, it's more fasad than fitna. Oh yes, the fasad of Gog and Magog is multidimensional. Oh yes, there is political oppression. It's part of the agenda of Gog and Magog. There is economic oppression. Your daughter, you know your daughter. She's Indonesian. She's also my daughter. And you should see the tears coming from her eyes. Our daughters are in Singapore, serving Dajjal as domestic servants and being paid the salary of a dog. Our daughters. She's paid $300 a month. Here she's paid 600 ringgits a month. Would any Singaporean girl work for that wage? Now don't come to me with the argument, but when she takes the $300 to Indonesia, it's a lot of money. Because justice demands that you be paid the wage of the market in which you are working, not the wage of another market. So don't make the mistake. Is there any Singaporean girl who will work for that wage and do that job? Come on, Lee Kuan Yew, answer me. With all the studies you did in Harvard, making Singapore the model state. The answer is no. No. That's oppression. Would any Malaysian girl work for that wage in Malaysia, do the same work? The answer is no. That's oppression. So you are oppressing my daughter. When men are oppressed, Allah's anger is terrible. Can you imagine what it must be like up there when women are oppressed? Can you imagine what kind of anger there is over there when children are oppressed? That oppression is around the world today. Gog and Magog and Dajjal. I'll tell you the result. In Surah Al-Isra, Allah tells us what He's going to do to the oppressors. and to those who choose to continue to reside amongst the oppressors in their cities. He says in Surah Al-Isra, وَإِن مِّن قَرْيَةٍ إِلَّا نَحْنُ مُهْلِكُوهَا قَبْلَ يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ أَوْ مُعَذِّبُوهَا عَذَابًا شَدِيدًا كَانَ ذَلِكَ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَسْطُورًا. This is آخِرُ الزَّمَانِ. You cannot understand this ayah except in the context of آخِرُ الزَّمَانِ. And there is not a single town or city that will not be destroyed. Surah Al-Isra, Allah will destroy them all. And those who escape destruction will be punished with terrible punishment. And this is something inscribed in the book. So the study of Gog and Magog and their economic oppression, their monetary oppression with its bogus and fraudulent and utterly haram paper money, the oppression that comes now from Islamic banks who say that they engage in halal transactions, but in effect, in their so-called murabaha, they're lending money on interest, but disguising it as a sale. I call it backdoor riba. If you differ with me, no problem, no problem. We differ, okay? You have your opinion, I have mine. You say, Cheikh Imran is wrong. But if you come after me with boxing gloves to attempt to demonize me and to prevent me from preaching and teaching, well then I have an answer for you. I will show patience and patience and patience until patience is no more. And I'll say, come Islamic Bank, come, let us both pray to Allah and ask Allah to curse and to punish with the greatest possible punishment whosoever from amongst us is wrong on this issue. War comes and Israel wages wars to expand her territory. What's going to happen to Saudi Arabia? Okay, this is my opinion. I believe that those who rewrote the Torah to say that the Holy Land extends from the river of Egypt to the river Euphrates, they did so because the Jews lived in Egypt for 400 years. Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam lived in Egypt. Nabi Musa alayhi salam lived in Egypt. Nabi Harun alayhi salam lived in Egypt. And the Egypt that they lived was not the whole of Egypt. Misr in the Quran refers to the eastern delta from the river Nile to the Red Sea. That is Misr, not the whole of Egypt. So they are saying this is a part of the Holy Land. The river Euphrates, because the Jews were taken into exile in Babylon and they lived there for hundreds of years. So they say that is also a part of the Holy Land. But the Jews also lived in Medina. Oh yes. So although it's not there in the Torah, it is not far-fetched for us to say that there's going to be an attack on Medina. And so something will have to happen in Saudi Arabia for the Jews to say of Saudi Arabia that it is now rising and turning into a terrorist state. Yeah. That he's asking about is very important for us to memorize. The dua has come with different versions. You can memorize any one. They're all in Sahih Bukhari. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azab al-qabr. O Allah, I seek refuge with Thee from the punishment of the grave. Then you pause there. and tell you one of the punishments of the grave. If you have not had your dinner so far, I suggest don't have any dinner tonight. In Surah Al-Zumar, Allah says that He takes the souls at the time of Maut. But for those for whom Maut is not yet ordained, He takes their souls while they are sleeping. فَيُمْسِكُ الَّتِي قَضَى عَلَيْهَا الْمَوْتِ. And when He takes their souls while they are sleeping, He then keeps those souls for whom Maut is written. وَيُرْسِلُ الْأُخْرَى إِلَى أَجَلٍ مُسَمَّى. And He returns the other souls for a period of time that is prescribed. But during that time, when the soul has been taken and not yet returned, there is no way to tell that that person is still alive. Now, all the medical evidence would show no sign of life. So if Allah wants to punish you with one of the punishments of the grave, He can do this to you. He can take your soul, and people will believe that you are dead. And they will wash your body, and they will clothe your body, and they will perform the Salatul Janazah, and they will bury you, and they will forget to put a cell phone down there. And after they have left the grave, then Allah will return your soul to you. So it will be as though you woke up from sleep. But when you wake up from sleep, the place is dark, no light. So you call out to your wife, what happened? But no answer. You attempt to get up, you can't get up. You're confused. This place is dark, and I am in an enclosed space, can't get up, and I'm smelling this camphor. What's going on here? And then you begin to feel the cloth, but I didn't go to sleep in this clothes. What is this? What is this? What is this? Slowly, 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 you will come to the horrible realization that you are in a grave. This is worse than an earthquake. Worse, because this is your grave. You've been buried alive. Now the tears will come. Now you want to make tawbah, but the time for tawbah is gone. So Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min azab al-qabr. O Allah, I seek refuge with Thee from the punishment of the grave. Wa min azab al-nar, and from the punishment of the fire, fire of Jahannam. وَأَعُوذُ بِكَ مِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَحْيَا وَالْمَمَاتِ. And I seek refuge with Thee from the fitna, the tests and trials of living and of dying. وَمِنْ فِتْنَةِ الْمَسِيحِ الدَّجَّالِ, and from the fitna of Dajjal, the false Messiah. This dua should be recited in Salat, before the salams, the last thing before the salams.